in. Come in, come in. Have a seat. Now, I'm dying this thing. You were asking me the other day how the Arthurian epic was getting on, and I'm happy to say it's going. I've just had a big long burst of it. I have to do it in great bursts, really. It's a little Jason Patrick pipe going. So I did it in great bursts because you've got to read yourself into it. You've got to keep going. Anyway, I've just finished. It's here. The second book of the second volume, so the fifth book altogether. But it includes, the moment sort of goes back and becomes part of the Arthur's origin story. So this book includes, you know, perhaps one of the most celebrated, much better, one of the most celebrated episodes, which is when Arthur goes out on the mere and receives Excalibur from the hand that's coming up out of the water at the behest of Nimue, the Lady of the Lake. Now, in the big arch of my telling it, I have the young Arthur, before he even knows he's going to be king, being taken to Elvendom by the and to a glimpse of Avalon by the poet Taliesin, and he kind of foresees the Lady of the Lake, and she tells him he's going to receive a sword, but then he's told that he won't remember everything that happened to him in Elvendom, but bits of it come back. So now her prediction that she would indeed give him a sword is about to come true. So let me read you. This is actually the beginning of the final stave. There's 7 staves in the book. The whole final stave is called Excalibur, and it's divided into the gift of the sword and the drawing of the sword. The drawing of the sword being the first time he uses it in battle. But I'll read you the gift of the sword. So the situation is that they're not in Camelot, they're in Caerleon on the Usk, an old Roman legion city, and Arthur is now, so he's calling for others to acknowledge his kingship, and all these various local kings have arrived, and some of the younger men particularly have come over to Arthur's side, but the others are defying him, and they've gone away into a kind of huddle, and it looks like the tower is going to be besieged. But there's a little postern gate, as there always in these places, and this is, as it turns out, the night before Arthur's first really great battle. So, the gift of the sword. First, Arthur saw to making firm the keep at Caerleon. He posted watch upon the walls, and gave good provision in the halls, saw to the horses in their stalls, and as he passed among them all, gave hope to everyone. Then Merlin said, "The keep is safe, the kings are yet withdrawn. Come, Arthur, to the postern gate. Even as the day is growing late, we'll slip away ere sun has set, for you have an adventure yet to meet before the dawn." And there, outside the postern gate, their steeds awaited them. They mounted and rode north and west, companions on a secret quest, up through a valley wreathed in mist, a strange, uncanny glen. This is a magic borderland, the valley paths of Wales. I know them well, my wise Merlin said, and whence they come and where they lead, and every step is overlaid with ancient songs and tales. We take the narrowest of ways, wooded on either side, a steep sloped valley winding still, shadowed between the ancient hills, towards a lake the long rain fills, held in a cup between the hills, its waters cold and wide. There you must venture on alone and meet your destiny. See you ahead yon narrow cleft, an elven gate, a hidden rift. You must pass through it, secret, swift, and there receive both word and gift, and then return to me. And so they both dismounted there, and Merlin kept the steeds. And Arthur went ahead alone, as through a guardian gate of stone, towards the setting of the sun. He saw beyond it waters shone, and heard, as though an elven song, the wind among the reeds. He made his way down to the shore, and saw an eerie sight. Far off, amidst the waters clear, he saw a wondrous arm appear, holding a sword and scabbard there. The arm was veiled in cloth most rare, of samite mystic white. The jewelled scabbard and the hilt of the great sword it bore caught the full light of westering sun, and in that light with glory shone, as though the light bathed it alone, as Arthur gazed in awe. Then Arthur saw a lady fair, or so it seemed to him, a beauteous damsel wreathed in light, all green and gold, her garments bright. Her presence brought him deep delight, filling his soul with joy and light up to the very brim. She walked towards him on the lake, and then a memory stirred of how he'd stood upon a shore in Elvendom, and how he saw the lady of the lake, who bore a scabbard and a sword. And now she came to him again and said, "Your hour has come. Do you still wish to bear the sword with courage as your land's good lord? Do you hold to your given word before the throne, the oath you swore, given in God's good name?" "I do," King Arthur soft replied. "God make me worthy now." "Then know," the lovely lady said, "that he who takes this sacred blade must one day cast the sword aside and see all he has made unmade, and still keep to his vow. And as I give this gift to you, I ask of you a boon. One day a maid will come from me, and ask you of your courtesy to grant my boon full fair and free. When that day comes, no man may see, it may come late or soon." "I will abide," King Arthur said, "and grant to you your boon. Whatever gift you ask of me, then I will grant it fair and free, nor ever break my courtesy, come that day late or soon." And then she said, "Behold the barge that takes you to the sword. Across my waters you will glide, and fare into the lake so wide, until the sword is at your side for you to bring aboard. And this same barge will come one day with 3 queens all aboard. When you return to waters wide, and cast the sword back to the tide, to bear you from the battle side to Avalon, there to abide and heal of hurts and wounds so wide, until at turn of time and tide you come back with your lord." And Arthur saw among the reeds a fair wrought elven boat. All carven was her stately prow, with interlacing forms that flow in lovely lines from stern to bow. And Arthur stepped aboard, and now the young king is afloat. King Arthur sits within the stern on cushions soft and low, and without sail or any oar the boat slips swiftly from the shore, as though some hidden hand or power impelled her from below. And now the barge comes near the sword, and Arthur takes the blade. And now the arm in samite white withdraws from out of Arthur's sight, beneath the waves whose waters bright shone with the sun's reflected light in sunset red and gold. And now the barge draws Arthur back unto the reedy shore. The long lights on the waters shake, her path of sunlit waters. He sees the lady of the lake, her path of sunlit waters take, till she is seen no more. So Arthur girded that bright sword with joy about his waist, and took the hidden path once more, back to the cleft, back to the door. Eager to tell all that he saw, he made his way in haste. And Merlin stood and greeted him, and asked, "How did you fare?" And Arthur showed the magic blade, and told him all the lady said, and of the promise he had made, that if she sent to him her maid, a boon he'd give to her. Then Merlin said, "Draw forth the sword," and it was swiftly done. The great sword in the last light gleamed, and unto Arthur there it seemed that from the blade itself there gleamed light, brighter than the sun. And do you see, wise Merlin said, the letters written there? And Arthur saw the letters then. In their own red gold light they shone. Each side had letters writ thereon, in elven script most fair. And on one side King Arthur read these 3 words, "Take me up." But written on the other side, "Cast me away," the writing said. And Arthur turned and turned the blade, at once in fear and hope. And Merlin made a prophecy, and unto Arthur spoke, "The king who must take up the sword will learn from out God's holy word, that he who liveth by the sword must give his life back by the sword, and bear the heavy yoke. Good Arthur, you must draw this sword, but only to bring peace. Though there is glory in the fight, you must not trust in earthly might, but only battle for the right. You hold the blade, but hold it light, for after glorious day comes night, and by the hand that braved the fight, the sword must be released." "Now let me ask you," Merlin said, "which pleases you the best, the brightly shining battle blade, or the fair scabbard all inlaid with patterns rare the elves have made and woven in the west?" "I love Excalibur's bright blade, the sword itself," he said. "Then you lack wisdom," Merlin said. "The scabbard far excels the blade. For on the scabbard spells are laid, and over it while it was made were incantations read. Whoever wears this sheath and belt, wrought in fair Avalon, will never take a mortal wound. Yea, though his blood fall to the ground, strength will return and hope abound. Fear will be lost and courage found, even though he fights alone. Look to the scabbard, guard it well, yea, keep it safe and close. When I am gone, I know right well, a damsel dark will seek to steal the scabbard with its power to heal, likewise the sword by art and spell to bring you woe and loss. These things I see may come to pass, or may be thwarted still. Yet you must bravely bear the sword, and ever yet be on your guard, and always keep to your good word and purify your soul." Young Arthur kept these words within and pondered them right well. And now the full moon rose and shone. They took their steeds to mount thereon, and swiftly rode to Caerleon, all in the moonlight pale. So there you go, another instalment of the forthcoming epic. And the first volume is going to be published next spring by RabbitRoom, and also I think by my English publisher, Canterbury Press. So I'm very pleased about that. Anyway, lovely to see you. Thanks for dropping by.